hear another prisoner screaming out of pain, and he's right in front of me or right next to me, and he's screaming not because he has done anything wrong. No, he's in his cell. He's screaming because he's ill. He's screaming because the guard has just sprayed him with pepper spray without doing anything, and he's screaming for that, and nobody cares, nobody gives a damn, nobody comes to help, and he's screaming and screaming, and next door you feel your heart is being torn. You can't do anything. To say it's depressing, to say it's demoralizing, to say that one has lost hope is all true. Solitary confinement in Guantanamo, really, I mean, it's a place where people lose their minds.
I experienced sadness in a state that I never have, cruelty in a depth that I never seen in my life. But you will not leave a similar person anymore. You will leave as broken, physically broken, psychologically broken wretches. You wouldn't even dream of it or feel it unless you're really subjected to it. I could tell you, just imagine yourself sleeping under light, glaring light for 6 years. What will that do to you? You could imagine it, but you will not really feel how breaking it is to the mind unless you live underneath that kind of system. When you have a hole like that and then you have an AC which is in full blow of air, cold air coming out into it, you're living inside a fridge. You're locked up. I used to remember, I worked in Burger King's when I was a student for studies and stuff. I used to remember walking into Burger King's fridge to get stuff out. It was like that. And they had a system after system. It was continuous. It was like you never had rest in Guantanamo for 6 years.
Throughout our stay in Guantanamo, we was all physically and psychologically and sexually abused in many forms. I know of detainees who went into interrogation and they were threatened to be sodomized. I know of detainees who went into interrogation and came back crying because of what had happened to them.
Guantanamo Bay was hell for us for 2.5 years, and that's never going to...
It's like just asking a woman who's just been raped, will her life go back to normality? Never. And we're in the same boat.
I remember being spat at. I remember the dogs being brought so close to me that I could almost feel the saliva dropping off the dog's mouth. Took a knife and ripped off my clothes. I could feel the cold blade gliding across my skin. And then being taken up naked, forcibly shaved. I was held for a total of 3 years. 3 years without charge, without trial, without any explanation, and I was released without charge, without trial, and without any explanation.